everyone, my name is Haley and welcome back or welcome to my channel. So for today's video, it is going to be book related. I can feel myself coming out of my slump. I have finished a book, so that is a good sign. I'm currently reading two books. I'm reading The Atlas Six and I'm reading Twisted Games by Ana Huang. So that's just a little update on my reading life. But for this video, I wanted to do a mini last day of work book haul, I guess. I recently got a new job, so Barnes & Noble will not be my place of employment anymore. So on my last shift, I wanted to get some books that have been on my radar, get the best out of my employee discount, and that's what I'm here to show you today. There's not a lot here because I do buy books like when I was working there. I would just buy them when I wanted them. So there hasn't really been a lot of stuff culminating to have a massive haul. I think there's only like 8 books here, but I thought it would be fun nonetheless and show you some books that have been on my radar. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I will start with the small ones first. So the first two books are by the same author, and that is Weasels in the Attic by Hiroko Oyamada and The Hole by Hiroko Oyamada. So these are very small Japanese fiction books, and I will go ahead and read the back of them so that you can know what they are about. Starting with The Hole. Asa's husband is being transferred and the young couple move next door to his family's home in the Japanese countryside. Asa tries to readjust to their remote rural lives until one day she comes across a strange creature, follows it to the embankment of a river, and ends up falling into a hole that seems to have been made specifically for her. In the series of bizarre experiences that follow, Asa begins to question her role in this world and her own sanity. This reminds me of that one Junji Ito story where they all go to like this canyon and they all walk into the holes that like fit their body. I don't remember what it's called. That's what this reminds me of. And then Weasels in the Attic. This thrilling and mysterious new novel explores fertility, masculinity, and marriage in contemporary Japan. In 3 interconnected scenes, Hiroko Oyamada revisits the same set of characters at different junctures in their lives. In a room above a failed pet store surrounded by rare and exotic fish, old friends discuss dried shrimp and a new relationship. A couple newly moved into a rustic home in the mountains discover an unsettling solution to their weasel infestation. In a dinner party during a blizzard leads to a night in a room filled with aquariums and unpleasant dreams. Like Oyamada's previous novels, Weasels in the Attic sets its sights on the overlooked aspects of contemporary Japanese society and does so with a surreal sensibility that is entirely her own. These sound really cool, magical surrealism type of stuff, so I also love having short books on hand for when I do get into a reading slump, and these will be great to pull me out of it. So really looking forward to these. I actually bought my boyfriend this one and The Factory. I don't think he's gotten around to them yet. I wanted to have my own copy because I like to annotate. That's that. And then the third book is also a Japanese fiction book. It's called Life for Sale by Yukio Mishima. I hope I'm pronouncing these right. This cover is just so pretty. I love like the collage look to it. This one is also short. I think just under 200 pages. And I've really been wanting to read this for a while now. After botching a suicide attempt, salaryman Hanio Yamada decides to put his life up for sale in the classified section of a Tokyo newspaper. Soon interested parties come calling with increasingly bizarre requests, and what follows is a madcap comedy of errors involving a jealous husband, a drug-addled heiress, poisoned carrots, even a vampire. For someone who just wants to die, Hanio can't seem to catch a break as he finds himself enmeshed in a continent-wide conspiracy that puts him in the crosshairs of both his own government and a powerful organized crime syndicate. By turns wildly inventive, darkly comedic, and deeply surreal, in Life for Sale, Yukio Mishima stunningly uses satire to explore the same dark themes that preoccupied him throughout his life. This, I think, sounds really interesting. It kind of reminds me of that one art installation. This artist, it was a woman, she sat somewhere for like 4 hours with a table full of things like weapons or flowers or stuff like that. And the whole point of the exhibit was for 4 hours, I think it was 4 hours, she would sit there and let anyone do whatever they wanted to her. That kind of reminds me of this when he puts his life up for sale in the newspaper. And I like the second half of the synopsis where it says some things come to light in a conspiracy. That sounds really interesting to me. and I like when authors use their own thoughts and feelings that happen to them throughout their life and put it in a book. Like No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai kind of gives me that same feeling, where it's not technically an autobiography because it is a fictionalized person, but a lot of what he talks about in that book happened to him or were kind of things that he felt. That's what this is giving me, so I am very excited to read this as well. Next, we will move on to the 2 romance books that I bought. The first one is Under Lock by Mariana Zapata. This is actually the first physical copy I own of a Mariana Zapata book. I have read From Luke Love with Love, Colty, and The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, and I'm almost done with Gracie and the Grump, but I don't own any of them, so this is the first one. And I've always wanted to read it because it has the vibes that I like in my romance books, so I decided to pick it up. It says, after moving to Austin following 6 months of unemployment back home, Iris Taylor knows she should be glad to have landed a job so quickly, even if the business is owned by a member of the same motorcycle club her estranged father used to belong to. Except Dex Locke might just be the biggest jerk she's ever met. He's rude, impatient, and doesn't know how to tell time. And the last thing they ever expected was each other. But it was either the strip club or the tattoo shop. She should have chosen the strip club. I just feel like he's gonna be, you know, your textbook bad boy, like grumpy sunshine type of thing, and I'm really in the mood for that when I want to pick up a romance. And then I also picked up Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I saw in the back room of Barnes & Noble that she has a new book coming out on February 21st. It had like the same type of cover except it was pink, and so it reminded me of this, and I wanted to just read the back and see what it was about because I know this was really popular when it first came out. So I decided to buy it, and if I enjoy it, I will go pick up her new one. Knox Morgan doesn't tolerate drama, especially in the form of a stranded runaway bride. Naomi Witt is on the run, not just from her fiancé and a church full of well-wishers, but from her entire life. Although if you ask her, Naomi's riding to the rescue of her estranged hot mess of a twin, Tina, to knock him out, a rough around the edges town where disputes are settled the old-fashioned way, with fists and beer, usually in that order. Too bad for Naomi, her evil twin hasn't changed at all. After helping herself to Naomi's car and cash, Tina leaves behind something unexpected, the niece Naomi didn't know she had. Now she's a guardian to an 11-year-old going on 30 with no car, no money, and no plan. There's a reason this bearded bad boy barber doesn't get involved with high-maintenance women, especially not type A romantic ones. But since Naomi's life imploded right in front of him, the least Knox can do is help her out of her jam. And just as soon as she stops getting into new trouble, he can leave her alone and get back to his quiet, solitary life. At least that's the plan. We all know that's not what's going to happen. Again, this is probably like enemies to lovers, it seems. And I am a sucker for enemies to lovers. I will never get over it. It is my favorite trope, and I am excited to read this. My last 2 books are adult fantasy books. So the first one is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. It gives me City of Brass vibes, which I haven't read, but I really enjoy fantasy set in the Middle East. I am half Palestinian, so I love to learn about the culture more and read about it and the locations because I haven't visited any of the Middle East and the lore that we have, so very excited for this. It says, neither here nor there, but long ago, Luli El-Nazari is the Midnight Merchant, a criminal who, with the help of her jinn bodyguard, hunts and sells illegal magic. When she saves the life of a cowardly prince, she draws the attention of his powerful father, the Sultan, who blackmails her into finding an ancient lamp. With no choice but to obey or be executed, Luli journeys with the Sultan's oldest son to find the artifact. In a world where story is reality and illusion is truth, Luli will discover that everything, her enemy, her magic, even her own past, is not what it seems. It's giving me Aladdin vibes, but I am really excited. I don't know if I'll read this before The City of Brass, but I need to read them. It has a map on the inside, which I love. Really excited to read this. And the last book I have been really wanting to read, but it is not a book you read when you are in a reading slump, so I hadn't gotten around to buying it, but I figured I should buy it before my discount runs out, and that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I still haven't finished the Poppy War trilogy. I read the first one, but I'm really scared to finish it, and with this, I don't think it's gonna be a series. At least I don't know. So I do want to read this because if it's gonna hurt me emotionally, it'll happen all in one book, and I can prepare myself for that. I got the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition for no particular reason. It was just one of the nicer copies that we had. From award-winning author R.F. Kuang comes Babel, a historical fantasy epic that grapples with student revolutions, colonial resistance, and the use of language and translation as the dominating tool of the British Empire. 1828. Robin Swift, orphaned by cholera in Canton, is brought to London by the mysterious Professor Lovell. There, Robin trains for years in Latin, ancient Greek, and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. The tower and its students are the world's center for translation and, more importantly, magic. Silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation using enchanted silver bars, has made the British unparalleled in power, as the arcane craft serves as the empire's quest for colonization. For Robin, Oxford is a utopia dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. But knowledge obeys power, and as a Chinese boy raised in Britain, he realizes serving Babel means betraying his motherland. As his studies progress, Robin finds himself caught between Babel and the shadowy Hermes Society, an organization dedicated to stopping imperial expansion. When Britain pursues an unjust war with China over silver and opium, Robin must decide. Can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence? There's definitely a lot that's going to happen in this book. I really love dark academia settings and trials, anything that has to do with like a school and a competition. Like, I eat that up. So I'm really looking forward to that aspect of this. I think it will also be really interesting to learn more about Britain and China's history. I don't study that much history, so I enjoy learning about it when it is in books that I'm reading, because I'm not a big nonfiction person. Those were the books I bought during my last shift at Barnes & Noble. I'm really gonna miss that 40% off that I used to get, and obviously just working in a bookstore has been so much fun. It's been my job for a year, and I had a job before that working at a bookstore, so it's a place I feel very comfortable and am saddened to leave, but I will definitely be visiting very often. I wanted to get a few different genres, and I'm very happy with my choices. If you guys have read any of these books, comment down below and let me know what you thought of them. And if you have any recommendations for me to pick up in my next visit, please let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. And I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!